Reno to the Katni.
I'm pleased to make a contribution on the committee stage of this bill, the Papawai and Kaikokirikiri Trusts Amendment Bill. And so I don't want to, I think in relation to the preamble, I do endorse the remarks that have been made around the missed opportunity for a dual translation of this bill. But I think it's a lesson, sir, that for those that seek to introduce private bills or local bills in this House, if that is what they want to do, then that should be planned for at the front end of the legislative drafting process, and so that all of that work can be done up front, and so it's not put pressure on to the select committee to try after the fact to try and look at that possibility of a translation, because it is quite a specialised task, and I guess it's just be prepared up front when you're introducing the legislation, and if that is the wish of the people that are sponsoring the bill, then it would be good if they took those steps to ensure that they carry out the translation at the start. But I do also agree, sir, though, that I would hope that the reasons such as practical difficulties and time constraints won't preclude it in the future, because we should try and facilitate and help in every way possible in the crafting of legislation to ensure that if that is the wishes of the sponsors of the bill, that the services that are available to draft that translation are at the disposal of those that seek to use those services, sir. But sir, I do commend the Trust for seeking to modernise themselves through this bill, sir. And I think it's some 73 years old, the legislation which we are amending through this bill. So yeah, it's quite timely that processes should be reviewed and updated to these modern times. And so, sir, just focusing on the preamble, the wishes of the Trust Board are to do 4 things, and there's no need for me to read them out, but it's about modernising and updating the powers of the Trust Board. But one that I do want to focus on, sir, which hasn't been covered thus far in the debate, is around the definition of the Bishop of Te Upoko or Te Ika. Now, that's obviously we're dealing with a private entity, the Anglican Church, and the bishop is obviously a senior office holder within the Anglican Church. But because of the cross-referencing of that term, sir, to the actual definition, I do want to refer to the definition of the Bishop of Te Upoko or Te Ika, and in particular to one word. And that is in subclause A, where it refers to Polynesia. And sir, I'm just want to ask the member in the chair, that's quite a very broad term, Polynesia. And I believe if we're enacting this legislation to modernise and update this Trust Board, I'd like to know exactly what are the parameters, what does it actually mean by Polynesia? Are we referring to the Polynesian Triangle, where we've got thousands of islands in the Moana Nui a Kiwa, we've got Hawaii at the top, Easter Island onto the far side, and Aotearoa in our little corner? Or are we referring to some other Polynesia, a more defined, more discrete islands within Polynesia? And so I just wouldn't mind clarification, because we are enacting this legislation, and to put a very sort of vague term such as Polynesia, even though it is an internal private office that is within the Anglican Church, I believe we need to be more exact. I think we should be, if we're enacting legislation, we need to be more precise in our terms. And so it is a bit vague with Polynesia. For instance, we are referring to Aotearoa, New Zealand and Polynesia. And so does that refer to the realm of New Zealand and the dependent territories that we have within Aotearoa New Zealand? Or does it refer to other associated territories that come within the realm of... Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair.
The Honourable Nanoa...
Mr. Chair.
Nanoa Mahuta.
Kia ora.